Yeah, so we're here only in Ogden, up at the top of the old Berthana building. Brett Turner, Matt Peterson. What are you guys doing up here today?
We're filming a music video for a cover song that I just recorded about a month ago. It was originally done by Nine Inch Nails. It was covered by Johnny Cash, who's my favorite artist, and my buddy Matt here. Why don't you tell them a story about kind of how we came to kind of come to record the song?
Well, Brett was performing at the Sand Trap in Ogden, a little bar. I just happened to grab my camera that day, and during the song, he was singing the song, so his mic, kind of like this mic right here, just the way he was singing and interacting with the mic, I just had my camera right up there, and afterwards, I just thought it looked pretty artistic and really cool, and just how it was composed. I said, hey Brett, after this, like, what do you think about doing a music video and covering this? And so Brett kind of took extra time and re-recorded the song, adding his kind of his style, where he's kind of marrying the Trent Reznor, Nine Inch Nails version versus Johnny Cash into a pretty good marriage of a song. And so that kind of spawned the creative side of it. And then we're working with Copper Club, and they allowed us to come up here and shoot the video today.
Nice, nice. So you mentioned Sand Trap, Copper Club, Ogden. You know, we got a great town here. Tell us what is it you're getting out of Ogden in terms of the music scene, and how that's kind of like propelling you forward, and any other thoughts on what's going on here?
Yeah, Ogden's been really good to me. I've been back here for 4 years now, and started playing quite a bit when I came here. I had no idea where the places were to play, and a lot of great places have sort of spawned up over the last couple of years and have taken really good care of me, and the people here have really supported me and came out to the shows and everything like that. I think for me as an artist, 2 years ago I quit my day job, so to speak, and started doing this full time, and was playing 15 to 20 times a month, and have really started to scale back and really kind of focus more on the writing and the recording and the artistic side. Matt and I talk about all the time. He's a photographer and does all my video kind of creative work and everything like that. Just about kind of getting back to a place where you're just making good art, and you're able to kind of just hone in on what it is that you're trying to say, through a song or through a video or through a picture or whatever, and stuff like that. And so that's kind of what our main focus is on, and then really trying to just do a little bit more quality live shows instead of doing more quantity is what we're trying to do. So like I said, Ogden's been great and super supportive of me, so it's a great place to be an artist for sure.
Yeah. Speaking of the art of it, Matt, I see you out there shooting. You're using a DSLR. Tell us a little bit about how the tools are changing, and how like guys like you and guys like me, and we're putting out interesting product, getting it out there on new channels, and really kind of doing stuff that's on the creative level with what would have taken hundreds of thousands of dollars years ago.
I'm glad you said that, because the cool thing about this is that this song that Brett he recorded all out of his apartment. A one-bedroom apartment. He sat down in there, and he had all the sound and recording system, which isn't like thousands and thousands of dollars. I mean, it was just a laptop, a recording mic, and a mixing board, and he put that together in like one night.
Yeah, it was
like one night. So he laid down. Yeah, a good chunk of the night. He stayed up all night, and he sent me the sound the next day. And then you have me just shooting on a Canon 5D Mark II. And so this is kind of like a two-man job that we're going and making this pretty creative looking music video out of. So you have two guys, not a ton of overhead with it, putting out something that's going to be more creative and using the resources. It's just more or less thinking outside of the box, and then having the tools saying, this is on a budget, how creative can we get that's doing something totally different, that's going to cause a stir. And the fact that just two guys produce both the sound and the video and the editing of all of this is going to be a cool thing. I do want to do a shout out. We did pull in another artist, blackstilllighting.com. They did all of our lighting for us, and he's a Utah-based company that does some vintage, very cool lighting style as well. And so that's about the third person that's collaborated with us on this project. And so it's just finding local artists and collaborating and doing something different, like blackstilllighting.com has done with their lighting setup, and so we wanted to highlight them in our video.
Yeah, what kind of lights are these, kid? You got any like specs and text on these?
Yeah, let me introduce you to the artist who designed them and the inventor.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, come on in here. This is Brett.
Hey, Brett with Black Steel Lighting.
What's happening, Brett?
And thanks for having me on.
Yeah.
So, with my company, I'm doing two different things. I have one line where it's new production, everything's handmade and kind of distressed. So it's all like new products. And that's what this particular floor lamp is. And in addition to that, like this guy that's hanging up here, I also go and I go across the country and find vintage, one-of-a-kind, industrial aesthetic pieces, and then bring them back here to Utah and sell them at my store down in Salt Lake, Urban Vintage. So that's kind of what Black Steel Lighting is all about, is those two different things. But it's tons of fun, it's been way cool, been able to work with lots of local musicians and kind of just getting it out there. It's really cool how the artist community really comes together and helps each other out.
Yeah, tell me, how does people find more about your products again?
We have a website, blacksteellighting.com.
Yeah.
And so you can check on there, you can do online orders. And all of our vintage, one-of-a-kind pieces are carried in a store down in downtown Salt Lake called Urban Vintage. And they're located on 300 South.
Nice.
Yeah, he's also going to be donating a few pieces that we're going to be giving away when we release the video as well. So that's one thing that we like to get out there too, is that we're going to be giving away a few of his pieces.
Well, this thing definitely looks like it's built to rock and last a few more decades, so applaud you on that. So, Matt, you mentioned something. Let's sit down here again. You mentioned a music video. We were talking about the camera gear, and Brett, I just was kind of curious, the last time we saw music videos on MTV was like a decade or two ago. How's the video and photo come back as an important tool for the aspiring artists such as yourself?
Well, I think it's imperative these days. Really the way that people are introduced to artists now isn't the live show like it used to be. It's really online, YouTube, Vimeo, even just putting up videos on people's Facebook pages and stuff like that is really the way that people are getting introduced. You see somebody playing at a local venue that you want to go to, you're going to hop online and you're going to Google search them, and you're going to watch their videos to decide whether or not you like them or not. And so I think it's really, it's an amazing thing, because it used to be that artists would try to play really, really small shows and getting noticed so that they could play a big venue, and now we have this sort of big venue that's sort of built in online that we can, really just kind of release our art to and kind of give it away to people and invite them to be a part of it. That being said, more now than ever before, there's people trying to do it and stuff like that, and so the creative side of it and trying to be different and remain different and kind of staying true to who you are is
a good example of that, of how we use our tools today, just to think outside the box, is when Brett was playing at Soundtrack, we decided one day, like 10 minutes before the show, saying, hey, let's stream this live. Let's do a live streaming show with you and see what kind of response we get. We blasted out to all of our social media networks. We had a bunch of people hop on, and it just so happens that one of those was a booking agent out of Switzerland that was interested in having Brett's. He liked the style, she liked the style and the sound of what she was hearing in the show. And I guess in Switzerland they love the Americana sound, and it just was eating it up. And so we're currently under contract right now and negotiating a European Switzerland tour, just because we threw this up through social media and streamed it, just thinking outside the box. Now we have a bigger market and a wider range of people to work with, instead of working with a huge label, spending lots of money, taking a tour bus, going from city to city, trying to build your name. It's pretty easy now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. It seems like the world keeps getting smaller. We start getting fans all over the globe interested in what we're doing. Brett, tell us a little bit about the Brett Turner story. Like, how did you end up getting a guitar in your hand, this funky old mics in your kit? But where did this all come from? What's the inspiration?
It's quite a long story. I'll shorten it basically. I spent some time in Japan when I was 20 years old. I was walking through Japan and I stumbled upon this warehouse, and there was these 4 Japanese guys in there strumming guitars. And I walked in and I listened to them for an hour. And to this day I have no idea what they were singing about, but I was moved by it. And I loved the idea that somebody singing about something in a completely different language, but just with energy and passion, could move somebody that had no idea what they were talking about. So I moved back here and I bought a guitar at a pawn shop for 50 bucks. I started just kind of teaching myself. And then I kind of just dabbled in it. I did a little writing, I did, just some playing and stuff like that, more of a hobby. And then when I moved to London, back when I was 26 years old, and I was living in London and just kind of wanted to keep to myself a lot. And so I kind of hole up in my flat and was recording a bunch of stuff, and I sent it to my dad who was sick. And on one of my last visits before my dad passed away, he sat me down and he said, son, he played one of my songs and he's like, listen to this. And I was like, yeah, I wrote this. I know what it sounds like. And he's like, listen, he's like, I'm going to be really disappointed in you if you don't try to do something with music. He's like, I don't know where the hell you learned how to play or where you learned how to write like this. He's like, but I really think that people can connect with it, and I think that the people would be moved by it. And he's like, I didn't have gifts like that. He's like, I drove a truck because that's all I knew how to do to provide for you and your mom and your sister. He's like, but I really think that you can make a living out of this, and I want you to do something with it. And so after he passed away and I moved back here when I was 28, it just kind of felt like the right thing to do. Like I'd never played a live show before. I'd never really written songs or recorded anything. I just started writing as much as I can. I played anywhere that I could for free, and slowly but surely start to build my name. And I never took any lessons or vocal lessons or songwriting lessons or anything like that. And I was very aware of my limitations as far as what I couldn't do as an artist. I can't play guitar, shred guitar or anything like that, and I can't hold out, notes like a lot of famous singers can and great singers can. I was very aware of my limitations, and that's kind of where I honed my sound, I think, is just kind of sticking with what I do good, which is rhythm and really just my lyrics and stuff like that, and trying to communicate, what I'm trying to say. So that's a little bit, I guess, of my story.
All right. How about you, Matt?
Mine's about 4 years ago. I kind of got into art. I had no idea I had like a creative side to me, to be honest with you. We had like a little point and shoot camera to try to take pictures of my kids, but back then it was like, it took like 15 minutes for it to kind of think and expose and get focused, and by the time it's done, you have a 2-year-old and it's off and gone, right? And so I just bought like a cheap Nikon kit for 400 bucks, like their cheapest camera kit, digital camera kit, and started getting those instant shots that I was wanting and capturing that moment, and then I just started playing with light of how it came in through the back window, and then I moved it to the lampshade of how the lampshade looked with it, and then I saved and bought like a $50 strobe kit and just practice, and just started building my equipment out. And it's the same type of things, just self-taught, looking at what other artists are doing, what I found inspiring, and how I kind of developed my own style with this kind of editorial look and this creative side now that's is all over the place. So.
Nice. So we heard that you guys have kind of teamed up and you got a new venture. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that? What's happening with the music scene?
We're super excited about it. Matt and I we only met in February. We kind of started working on this project together and just kind of started floating around some ideas just as far as truly believing that people have a passion and people have something in their life that they just want to spend their life doing. And mine's music and Matt's photography and videography and stuff like that. And so we were kind of kicking it around. We went down to Nashville, Tennessee on a Greyhound bus for it was a crazy trip. But it was a good time because we got to experiment a lot. We got to try some things out that we kind of the direction that we thought we were going in, and we kind of realized at the time we bit off a little bit more than we could chew, and kind of came back and just have spent the last few months kind of talking about what that looks like for us. And what it also, not only for us, but how do we help get other people's name out there? Do other people like Brett and Black Steel Lighting that are following their passions? How can we help just encourage those kind of things and get people's names out as well? And so what we kind of decided to do was to start our own kind of record label production company. It's going to be called Wingman Records and Company. And the basic idea is to release kind of all of our art like on that. But as people are kind of following it and supporting it, through downloading stuff and through kind of sharing it and stuff like that, the idea is that we actually give back to them and kind of free them up to follow some of their passions. And there's a bunch of different ways that we're going to do it. And for the launch, what we're doing is I have 500 records left, 500 albums from all across America that I have left. And so what we've done is we've numbered each one of them 1 to 500 and signed them all. And we're giving them to local businesses. We're going to announce which businesses we gave them to, and they're basically going to sell these last 500 CDs, and everybody that buys a CD is going to be entered into the grand drawing prize. Once all 500 are sold, we're going to give away a free house concert. So Matt and I are going to come to your house, we're going to play a show for your friends or your family or your co-workers or whatever. We're going to stream it online. But in addition to that, we're going to pay your home mortgage for the month, up to like $2,500 bucks. So We're basically going to throw a party at your house. We're going to pay for whatever your rent is so that you don't have to. And that's kind of going to be our first like launch of Wingman Records, and we just want to hook people up basically as kind of what we wanted to do, what we wanted to do with our art. You know, we're not necessarily going to get rich off of it or anything like that, but if we can just make enough to take care of ourselves and the people that we love,
right,
and help take care of other people as well, that's kind of what there's nothing greater than that.
Wow, it's kind of like a Willy Wonka story there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a killer
I'm
effect.
telling you, Oompa Loompas, make sure you bring them to the party, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we heard about Switzerland, new music company. Where are you playing next? You know, are you getting on the road, or are you staying local? What's happening there? Where can we find you, the Brett Turner scene?
You can find all my stuff online, brettturnermusic.com/shows. It'll tell you everywhere I'm playing. Like I said, I've cut back quite a bit. I'm playing once a month here at Slackwater Pub and Pizzeria, right next to the Ogden sign. I'm playing down at the Sundance Resort at the Owl Bar once a month. I'm still doing that. I'm going to do some Sundance Film Festival stuff. Right now we're kind of just keeping it pretty low key as far as our shows are concerned until we kind of launch the label and kind of figure out what we're going to do with that. But after we get the new songs out, the new singles out, we're going to release some kind of old school like I did in the 50s, do kind of an A and a B side every 4 to 6 weeks instead of doing just one big record. And then we're going to kind of get it out that way. And then try to hit Europe in April. That's what we're really gearing up towards and spending a lot of time figuring out the logistics of trying to do a European tour for a month.
Nice, nice. So, who you got your eye on locally? You know, here in Ogden, we got. One of the things that I, as somebody who came from out of town, that I've noticed is that Ogden's got this incredible local music scene. We got a bunch of new venues, but the thing that is really most interesting to me is how many young people are out there that are just there. They got these bands. I saw some all-girl bands that were just so tight. They look like they're all not even old enough to drive. So, what do you think about that and what's going on here? Is it something in the water or what?
I think definitely Ogden has, for some time now, been growing their artistic scene, especially that 25th Street. It seems like it's just like any shop along there seems to be doing something like in a creative sense. There's just something about it on the 25th Street. And I think there's a lot of people like the zombie proms that happen here like once a year, that Steve Strank's doing.
Yep.
I think is like brilliant, and everyone's eating that stuff up because he's a master, makeup artist and special effects artist. And so he's taking his talent and doing, these little zombie proms for a good cause, for their charity that they do each year. But people are so supportive of the artistic scene in Ogden that they love you. They rally around you and they voice you up, and that's kind of a good energy. That's a good vibe to be around and to kind of feed off of each other with.
Yeah, how about you, Brett? Who you got your eye on?
Well, selfishly, Matt and I ran into. We were drinking at Brewski's one night, and there was Sammy Brew was sitting outside playing.
Yeah.
Oh, I know that guy.
Sammy Brew, everybody knows. If you don't know who Sammy Brew is, you should know who Sammy Brew is. But the kid's 11 years old, and the thing that I love about him is he's playing stuff like, Woody Guthrie, Bob Dylan, like that kind of stuff. All those greats, the people that really sort of paved the way for all of us artists to kind of do our thing. That's the stuff that an 11-year-old is out there playing and doing like such a great job in honoring, what they've done and the stories that they've told and stuff like that. And to me, it's a tribute to this city. As far as there is a place for everybody here artistically, and I think the truer you are to yourself and your artistic talent here, the better you're embraced by this town. And that is a really truly great thing about being here in Ogden and kind of finding yourself and finding your style and finding where it is that you belong, I guess.
Yeah. What other street, in Utah, I've never seen another street where there's a piano chained to the corner, on 25th Street for people to be encouraged to play, just to say there's a piano just sitting out in the street for you guys to play on the corner there and just, nurture that creative mind. That was from there and his nonprofit. But
yeah, again, and I think a lot of it too is like people having a desire to help other people as well. It's not just about the sort of accolades for yourself or anything like that. It's really about sort of getting yourself out there, but helping other people in doing so, and kind of just staying true to yourself and finding what it is that you love and sort of putting it out there, and it's just widely embraced by everybody in Ogden.
Yeah, that's what we're seeing also. So, hey, we took up a lot of your time today, and appreciate you chatting with us here at Only in Ogden. Any other things you want to throw out there? Did we miss anything, or anybody you want to give props to, shout out, whatever? Just let us know now, and then if you want to tell us where people can find out more about the Brett Turner scene, just let us know.
Yeah, we definitely want to thank Linda Huddleston and the Copper Club for letting us in here today. Thank Only in Ogden, obviously. Thank you guys for coming in here and taking a listen to us. Definitely Black Steel Lighting, blacksteellighting.com. Is that where they can find you? Yeah, go there and check out their stuff and follow back with us on Brett Turner Music Facebook page and Matt Peterson Photography page as far as the giveaways that we're going to do.
Yeah, and another thing, just to kind of put a shout out there, it's, go find local artists where you're at. It's really easy to like their Facebook page, or when they post something to reshare. That stuff's free to do. And so you may not have a lot of money to throw at artists or local artists, or to buy all their CDs or what the art that they're creating, but it's free to retweet, or it's free to repost, or to like their page and stuff, and that's what it's about. That's kind of the artistic scene that we really need to support each other at. So
absolutely. Yep, we're right there with you. All right, guys, well, get back to the recording, the video, photo work, and we'll see you on the road. All right.
All right, sounds great.
All right.
Thank you.